This is the story of a man who is now less of a human and more of a machine. At any moment, his body can transform into iron and machinery. His hands become lethal weapons. One hand can turn into a plasma gun. A small missile launcher emerges from his back, and his eyes become high-tech sensors capable of scanning a person's entire data from a distance. Inside, he is no longer made of flesh and bone, but of machines that can even repair themselves. He possesses another dangerous power. He can control every electronic device around him with his mind. Mobiles, TVs, online systems. Everything starts operating at the command of his mind. No one knows who he truly is. All they know is that whenever he appears on a screen, someone's death is certain. He carries no visible weapon, but the moment he raises his finger, the person in front of him drops dead. Blood begins to flow from a bullet-like hole in their body, even though no actual bullet was ever fired. This is why people consider him the most terrifying killer to date. Ichiro Inuyashiki is a 58-year-old, simple and hardworking man. Recently, he bought a new house on a loan with his family. However, the house is small and filled with darkness, which makes his wife and children unhappy. Ichiro Inuyashiki takes care of his family as much as possible, yet they still consider him useless. His situation at the office is not good either. The boss often scolds him in front of everyone because he keeps making mistakes in his work. After several mistakes, the boss fired him from his job. After losing his job, the biggest question before him was, how would he pay the house loan? But even worse news was yet to come. That same day, the doctor looked at his reports and told him that he had cancer, and the disease had spread throughout his entire body. He has only 3 months left to live. A broken Ichiro Inuyashiki called his daughter, but she did not pick up the call. His wife didn't pick up the phone either. On his way home, he saw some thugs robbing a boy, but he quietly walked past. He met his daughter on the way. She called him a coward and weak. Upon reaching home, he wanted to tell them about his illness, but his daughter stopped him mid-sentence. She clearly stated that he should not come to the school's parent-teacher meeting because her friends think he is her grandfather, not her father. Hearing this broke Ichiro Inuyashiki's heart. He was sitting quietly on the porch. Just then, a dog entered the house. A note was tied around its neck that read, "If you find this dog, please adopt it. Its name is Hanako." Ichiro Inuyashiki thought about keeping it, but his wife refused. Compelled, he went to leave the dog in the park, but Hanako kept following him. It was then he realized that at this moment, this was the only companion in his life who truly cared for him. Nearby sat a boy named Hiro Shishigami, who was fed up with life because thugs would snatch his money every day on his way to school, and he couldn't do anything about it. At home, his mother was battling a serious illness, and his father had remarried and started a new family. Ichiro Inuyashiki and Hiro Shishigami were both troubled by their respective situations. Suddenly, a bright beam of light appeared in the sky, catching their attention. While they were watching, something suddenly crashed onto the ground, and both fell unconscious. In their unconscious state, they only saw some blurry shadows passing by. The next morning, when Ichiro Inuyashiki woke up, neither Hiro Shishigami nor those mysterious people were anywhere to be found. The strange thing was that he could now see perfectly clearly without his glasses. He didn't pay much attention to this and returned home. When he reached home, his wife asked in a cold tone, "Did you get drunk and sleep at the station last night?" Ichiro Inuyashiki wanted to tell the truth, but he couldn't gather the courage and remained silent. Everyone was eating at the breakfast table, but he wasn't hungry. He just had some soup, but even its taste felt strange. He was just feeling very thirsty, so he drank a lot of water. After returning to his room, white smoke suddenly came out of his hand. He quickly took off his shirt and saw that a high-tech gun had emerged from inside his arm. Then he felt a strange sensation, and the soup he had consumed automatically came out of his mouth. When he pressed his neck, his head widened, and instead of a human brain, a network of machines was visible inside, running on a self-recovery energy system. Seeing this made him terrified, but just then his wife walked in, and he immediately returned to his normal form. On the other hand, something strange was also happening to Hiro Shishigami. He too had become machine-like and couldn't understand whom to trust. He decided to show everything to his close friend Honda. He raised his finger like a gun, and as he gestured to pull the trigger, a bird flying in front of them suddenly fell. Honda was left stunned. Then Hiro Shishigami demonstrated his other powers. He could start and control a car from a distance without a key. Finally, he showed Honda the mini rocket launcher attached to his back and the gun hidden in his hand. Honda's jaw dropped in disbelief. Meanwhile, Ichiro Inuyashiki found an injured bird on the street. It was the same bird that Hiro Shishigami had struck. Seeing it, Ichiro Inuyashiki picked it up, and suddenly a type of healing interface appeared in his eyes. Within a few seconds, the bird was completely healed and flew away. This left him both surprised and happy. Now he possessed the power to heal someone. Hiro Shishigami reached school and broke the hand of the bully who used to snatch his money every day. The bully was begging for mercy out of fear, but Hiro Shishigami felt no satisfaction. He raised his finger like a gun again. Honda immediately stepped in and stopped him. Seeing Hiro Shishigami's new power, his classmate Yang was also impressed and directly told him that she liked him. However, Hiro Shishigami walked away from there. At that same time, Ichiro Inuyashiki heard the sound of a woman crying from the hospital, and he followed the sound and saw a young boy lying in a coma due to a serious illness. Remembering the incident with the bird from that morning, he placed his hand on the boy's face. In just a few seconds, the boy was miraculously healed and regained consciousness. The mother and the doctors were shocked that not a single trace of the illness remained. Seeing the mother's happiness made Ichiro Inuyashiki feel happy as well. He had saved another life. In the afternoon, Hiro Shishigami received a call from his mother. Now he didn't even need to pick up the phone. He could connect with her through his mind. His mother told him to go meet his father, as he was missing him. Hiro Shishigami hated his father because he had abandoned his mother, but he went there to honor his mother's request. His father welcomed him warmly and invited him to eat with the family. On the outside, he was smiling, but inside he was filled with rage. This happy family should have belonged to his mother. He raised his finger like a gun and intended to kill everyone, but then he lowered his hand. After all, he was his father, and the children were innocent. As he was returning, he heard the sound of laughter coming from a nearby house. This sound irritated him. In a fit of rage, he entered that house and killed the entire family. Ichiro Inuyashiki also heard a cry for help, and without thinking twice, followed the sound to the scene. However, the entire family had already been killed. Therefore, Ichiro Inuyashiki could not save them, as he could only heal those who were still alive. When Hiro Shishigami saw that a witness was present, he immediately raised his hand and attacked Ichiro Inuyashiki. He then activated his missile system and flew away. Ichiro Inuyashiki realized that this was the same boy he had met in the park a few days ago. The next morning, Hiro Shishigami simply swiped his hand across his phone screen, and 1 crore rupees suddenly appeared in his account. He couldn't believe it himself. At the same time, news of the murders from the previous night was playing on the TV. The report stated that everyone had died from gunshot wounds, but not a single bullet was found at the scene. Hearing this, Honda asked Hiro Shishigami if he was responsible for it. Hiro Shishigami clearly confessed that he was and declared himself a god who could decide who lives and who dies. He assured Honda that he no longer needed to fear his father or son. After saying this, Hiro Shishigami tried to give Honda money for food and expenses, but Honda refused. He was not ready to be friends with a ruthless killer. He told Hiro never to try to find him again and ran away from there. Meanwhile, Ichiro Inuyashiki's job was gone. The son stole money from his mother's purse because bullies at school had snatched his money. Hearing this, the sister angrily said that all of this was due to their father's failure. He could neither manage the household expenses nor protect the family. These words broke Ichiro Inuyashiki's heart, and he accepted that he was truly useless. Just then, he heard Honda's prayer. Ichiro Inuyashiki remembered the family that Hiro Shishigami had destroyed and decided that he would no longer remain silent. He equipped the missile system on his back, hugged his dog, and flew straight toward the park. There, he told Honda everything that had happened that night. Honda revealed Hiro Shishigami's identity. He was his classmate. Honda believed that on the night something fell on both of them, aliens had reconstructed their bodies and turned them into cyborgs. Their memories were likely saved on a chip. If Hiro Shishigami possessed such dangerous power, Ichiro Inuyashiki could have it too. And Honda decided to help him awaken these powers. The next morning, when the doctor performed a scan, there wasn't a single trace of cancer. His mother was completely healthy. Hiro Shishigami was both surprised and happy. He told his mother not to worry about money anymore and that she should go travel and relax. But just then, the police arrived to catch Hiro Shishigami in connection with the murders. He fled to avoid arrest. When someone tried to stop him, he gave them a light push, but the police drew their weapons. When Hiro Shishigami gestured with his finger and fired at the police, their bullets were ineffective against him. His mother was stunned to see all of this. Hiro Shishigami launched his rockets and flew away. Shortly after, a warrant was issued against him across the entire country. Upon hearing this news, Zhang immediately came to meet Hiro Shishigami and hid him in her house. She lived alone with her sick grandmother, so Hiro Shishigami could stay there as long as he wanted. Meanwhile, Ichiro Inuyashiki began training with Honda. Initially, he couldn't even move a tin can, but Honda advised him to focus and put all his strength into his finger to fire. Gradually, his power increased so much that the can exploded. However, he felt very thirsty after using his power. Honda guessed that water was his source of energy. But one day, when after drinking salt water, Ichiro Inuyashiki became restless and accidentally fired at Honda. It turned out that there was too much salt in the water, and this was his weak point. Elsewhere, Hiro Shishigami was watching on TV that people were blaming his mother for raising such a ruthless son. His mother grew tired of apologizing, but no one listened. Eventually, his mother committed suicide. Hearing this shattered Hiro Shishigami. He knew that it was because of him that his mother had to endure all of this. However, people on the internet even celebrated her death, saying that this is what should happen to someone who gives birth to such a son. This caused the anger inside Hiro Shishigami to grow even further. His mother was no longer in this world, yet people dared to say vile things about her, even after her death. The rage inside Hiro Shishigami exploded. He hacked the internet using brainwaves and video called the people who had insulted his mother one by one. As soon as he raised a finger at the screen, he shot them. This power, while sitting in his own home, was truly terrifying. He could sit anywhere and kill anyone. The next morning, news broke on TV that several people had been killed by gunfire, but no one could find any shell casings. The police became certain that this was the same killer who had previously wiped out the entire family. That night, Yang noticed that Hiro Shishigami was not sleeping. Hiro Shishigami no longer saw a need to hide and confessed that he had committed these murders. He also showed her the gun hidden in his arm, but Zhang showed no fear. She stood silently. For Hiro Shishigami hugged her and flew into the sky, as if wanting to test if she truly wasn't afraid of him. But Zhang only said, "I'm afraid that you will leave me." Hearing this, Hiro Shishigami felt that Zhang was connected to him with a true heart. He promised that he would never leave her and brought her back home. A little while later, Yang went to the kitchen to drink water, but just then, a special task force broke into the house and began firing. Hiro Shishigami immediately rushed to save Yang and killed the entire force amidst the hail of bullets. However, 2 bullets hit Yang, and she died right there. His elderly grandmother was also killed. Hearing the sound of the gunfire stop, the commander standing outside assumed that Hiro Shishigami had been killed, but then he flew into the sky and vowed that he would now take revenge on Japan. The next day, Ichiro Inuyashiki heard on TV that the killer was still roaming free. He told his family to turn off their phones immediately, but no one listened to him. At that same time, his daughter's class was being held in Japan's tallest building. Suddenly, Hiro Shishigami hacked the media system and appeared on the screen saying, "I have come to take revenge on the Japanese government. I will kill everyone present here." Initially, people thought it was a joke, but as soon as he began the attack, those watching live started dropping dead. The entire city was in chaos. Any device connected to the internet could now become his gun. Hiro Shishigami realized that there was someone else like him, and to draw them out, he fired missiles at high-rise buildings. Ichiro Inuyashiki tracked the missiles to find his location and tried to stop him, but Hiro Shishigami did not listen. Forced into action, Ichiro Inuyashiki fired first and then flew away. In a rage, Hiro Shishigami pursued him. Ichiro Inuyashiki was not yet an expert at flying. He narrowly avoided colliding with several buildings. Hiro Shishigami fired multiple missiles behind him. Ichiro Inuyashiki managed to dodge almost all of them, but one missile struck the building where his daughter was located. While fleeing, he heard his daughter's cry for help. She was trapped under bricks and was severely injured. Ichiro Inuyashiki scanned the building with his laser eyes. As soon as he got the location, he rushed to save his daughter. However, Hiro Shishigami was determined to kill him so that he would be left alone. During the fight, Ara shot through Ichiro Inuyashiki far away. Just then, a helicopter reached the spot. A reporter was providing live coverage. Ichiro Inuyashiki tried to save the people, but Hiro Shishigami crashed the helicopter into the building. The reporter was killed instantly. In the end, only 2 people remained alive. Ichiro Inuyashiki tried to reason with him. "Stop, end all of this." But Hiro Shishigami said, "Why do you care so much about these humans? What have they ever given you? We too are the same now. They are beneath us." Ichiro Inuyashiki had no answer. After fighting for a while, he grew tired and began to drink water. He cleverly made a hole in his bottle and took out another bottle of salt water. Without thinking, Hiro Shishigami drank that water and felt himself filled with energy. But he did not know that this was his weakness. Or Hiro Shishigami pursued Ichiro Inuyashiki with full strength. To save his life, Ichiro Inuyashiki flew straight past the atmosphere into space, but Hiro Shishigami eventually caught him. Just as he was about to finish Ichiro Inuyashiki, a sharp pain rose in his body. This was the effect of the salt water he had drunk earlier. Seeing the opportunity, Ichiro Inuyashiki immediately activated his weapon and fired at Hiro Shishigami. Upon being hit, several ballistic missiles fell to the earth, giving him enough time to save his daughter. He immediately reached the building and saw that his daughter was exhausted but alive. Both clung to each other and wept. But the relief did not last long. Hiro Shishigami returned and kicked Ichiro Inuyashiki hard. He pointed a finger at him with cold eyes and fired. Ichiro Inuyashiki ran. But it was too late. Mari Inuyashiki was hit by the shot. After this, Hiro Shishigami began to brutally beat Ichiro Inuyashiki. The difference in age and strength was clear. The elderly Ichiro Inuyashiki could not hold his ground against the young Hiro Shishigami. During the physical struggle, Hiro Shishigami saw that, instead of flesh and blood, there were machines inside Ichiro Inuyashiki's head. Looking toward Mari Inuyashiki, he said, "Look, your father is not human. He doesn't even have blood inside." Mari Inuyashiki was shocked, yet she still felt deep sorrow for her father. Hiro Shishigami was still not satisfied. He grabbed Mari Inuyashiki and threatened to throw her down the stairs. He wanted to prove to Ichiro Inuyashiki that humans were useless in his eyes. But Ichiro Inuyashiki was different. Even though his body had become a machine, his heart was still full of humanity and compassion. He could never accept Hiro Shishigami's actions as right. When he did not bow to Hiro Shishigami, the latter angrily threw Mari Inuyashiki down the stairs. Seeing his daughter in danger, Ichiro Inuyashiki's rage exploded. He set the energy core in his head to maximum power and lunged toward Hiro Shishigami with full speed. This time, his body had transformed into a super material. Finding his daughter safe gave Ichiro Inuyashiki the strength to save more people. Mari Inuyashiki was still astonished to see this form of her father. In the end, the police did not find Hiro Shishigami's body. Only a piece of a special metal was recovered. In reality, Hiro Shishigami was alive. He was hiding at Honda's house with a disabled hand. The evil thoughts within him had now vanished. He simply wanted to say goodbye to his best friend before leaving. Ichiro Inuyashiki's family was now living a normal life as before. However, in Mari Inuyashiki's eyes, her father had changed. She no longer saw him as a weak old man, but as a noble and brave superhero.